Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special behind the scenes edition of how I produce and record my videos. And so, this is my study slash studio, and this is where I do all of my work. And what I do whenever I'm coming up with a video is first I come up with the idea. Now, I have been teaching Sunday school for about 30 years. And what happens is I have a lot of notes that I have on my computer. It's interesting because I had a computer and it crashed about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. The only thing that I was able to salvage were all of my Sunday school notes. And then I got a second computer. It crashed, but fortunately, the only thing that I was able to salvage were my notes. And then by the time I got this computer here, I put everything up in the cloud and have a lot of hard copy. This is a lot of the hard copy because I used to take notes. So I come up with an idea, and usually when I have an idea, I have some type of research that I've already done. And the research tools that I use, I rely heavily on Unger's Bible Dictionary and the Hebrew Greek Keyword Study Bible. I then also use the NIV Study Bible, and I try to read it in English as well as Spanish because you'd be surprised at how one way it's phrased in English, but it's phrased another way in Spanish that has the same meaning, but it just comes at it from a different perspective. And I'm also studying Portuguese, and I'm able to read Portuguese no problem. And again, it's phrased differently from English and Spanish. And so it's good because it just kind of helps me see things from a different perspective. And so I have the notes, I have the concept, and then I have my whiteboard here. And as you can see with my art, this is something that I'm going to be dropping in a couple of weeks. This is a portrait of my favorite picture whenever my mom and I were growing up. But I then, in my mind, I come up with, okay, what do I want to put in terms of notes on the whiteboard? And then on the flip side, what type of art do I want to use to accompany the lesson? And so that takes anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. I'm not necessarily sitting down thinking about it. I'm actually just going about my life and I'm trying to put all this stuff in my head. And so once I do that, if you look at further or at previous videos, you'll see that I'll have the Bible verses. That's my notes. I don't write anything down. I just try to conceptualize it in my mind, and I don't want to write it down and read it because then it becomes too robotic. As you know, I teach public speaking, and I tell my students, anytime you read anything directly from the paper, or the more you read, the less effective it's going to be. Speak from the heart. And so I conceptualize it in my mind. And also, I want to keep it under 10 minutes. The video that I'm about to drop about my dad, Long Live the King, that was 14. And I knew that was going to be a little bit longer because I wanted a tribute, or wanted to have a special tribute to my dad. But generally speaking, I want to keep all of my videos under 10 minutes. If they go a little bit longer, 11, 12, that's fine. But I'm trying to keep from going 25, 30, 35, 40 minutes because it's just too long. So I get all of the notes on the board and I will go over the lesson. Title of the lesson is Consider If You Will. Then I'll have the notes. And then I'll flip it over and I have my art. Drawing on the whiteboard is interesting. And this is a talent that I just discovered that I had. By no means do I think that I'm a Picasso, but I do think that it's pretty good. And what I'm doing, because this is a whiteboard and I have to erase it, I don't want to not have a record. And so I bought a portfolio holder, and it just came in the other day. And so once I do the art, I take a picture of it and I'll take it to a copy shop, and then they will print it in a poster. I'll have two copies. I'll have one that I'll keep in my portfolio and one that I'll hang here in my office, give it to a friend, whatever the situation may be. And so I go over, and then as you realize in my other videos, I'll flip over the notes, or I'll flip over the board, and then I'll have the art. Now, by the time you see this video, I would have already launched Long Live the King. And so you've seen this, but I did make a few changes. I just changed the eyes because I thought that the way that it was here didn't necessarily capture the true essence of my dad. And so I changed the eyes. And in terms of how I learned how to draw, it's just something that came to me. I just conceptualized it. I go to the internet and put how to draw an eye or how to draw a body, And it's good, but it's too mechanical. It says, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. And most of the time, whenever there's a tutorial online, it's somebody that's using a paper and a pen, and you have leverage. It's very difficult to get leverage on this whiteboard. And let me get this done here. Whenever I use the dry erase markers, I have to be careful because I have to get leverage, and a lot of times the ink dries, and then if I try to go back over something with a marker and the ink is dry, it just acts as an eraser. So I have to be really meticulous, and you can see working with the eyes, I really wanted to capture my mom's eyes, and I think that I did so. And you can see me kind of practicing the different shades, what I want to do, because whenever I shade something and I want to go over it, sometimes I only get one chance. If it doesn't go right and it starts to smudge, then I have to start all over again. And it's also interesting because you can see here a lot of my tools. I use these magnets because I want to hide the main points. And so I put the magnets on there. In the beginning, when I started to do my art, I got a lot of rulers. You can see here, like rulers and protractors. I think I have a ruler here because online, it says, well, measure from here to here. But whenever I try to use a ruler or a protractor or some type of device to measure, okay, well, my body is so many feet away from my mom's body, and so I'm gonna have to try to do the math. It doesn't work. It becomes too mechanical. It's akin to me just writing down a presentation word for word and reading it. And again, speech teacher, you don't read, do not read. If you want to go back and look at some of my videos on how to give an effective speech, I say over and over again, do not read, do not read. And so when I start using the rulers and I start ticking and I start measuring, it just doesn't work. So somehow I'm just able to look at a picture and calculate because I wanted this picture to encompass the entire whiteboard. And I think I did a pretty good job. I'm a little short, so I'm gonna have to draw some hands. And by the way, hands are very difficult to draw, very difficult. Out of this whole thing that I've done, the hands, I still need to do it because it doesn't look right. And on the other one with my dad's picture, that hand took me longer than everything else. It's just very difficult to draw a hand. You have to perspective, you have to contour so that you can see the thumb, you have to draw the thumbnail correctly. So it's just very difficult, but I try to gauge it because I want the entire art to encompass the whiteboard so that you can see it, because I know most of you are watching this on your smartphone. And then I get everything together and I use this tripod to record. I have a table right here and I just begin to talk. I don't want to do more than 3 takes because I want it to be organic. The first take that I do, it determines how I did. Okay, it went well, didn't go well. I want to add this, I don't want to add that. The second take is the real take. And the way I know that's the second take, I will put like a number 2 somewhere. You may see it, but not know what it is, but it's for me because I don't want to get confused whenever I'm actually going through the recorded video. And if I forget to say something, I might do a third take. But there's a certain point, if I forget to say something and then I do a third take, well, I'm going to forget to say something on the third take. So perfection is not my goal. I just want to capture the essence of what the lesson is or what I want to achieve. And as long as I do that, in the comment section of the video that I drop, I can always put in anything that I left out to fill in the blanks. I also want to say, let me go back with the research. My dad and I are very similar. My dad, as I told you in a previous video, he was an ordained minister. Well, when he passed away, I moved into the house. And when I moved into the house, he went to like one of the seminary schools in Dallas. He had this treasure trove of research. And so the Bible dictionary and Unger's, the Bible dictionary and the Greek Bible translator, that's just one of many books that I got from my dad that I've moved over here because that house is no longer in existence. It was old and it had to be torn down. But it's just amazing that my dad left me just the knowledge that he was studying whenever he was in seminary, and I'm able to use it for my lessons. And so this is what happens behind the scene. I'm very excited for what I'm going to do in this YouTube channel. And my main goal is to use my gift. A long time ago, I realized that I have a gift of public speaking. I have a gift of teaching. And I promised God if he would give me a job, and you know where I work at a community college and I love it. I promised him if he gave me a job at a community college, which he did, I would always use my gift to teach teach or to advance his word. And so that's why I'm doing this YouTube channel. I am a member of a church in Houston. I'm not going to say the name just because I don't think it's appropriate. And they made some changes in the way Sunday school is taught. And those changes kind of prevent me from teaching. And so me doing this YouTube channel is a way that I can continue to invest the talents that God has given to me. As always, if you like this video, share. That's more important than subscribe because I want as many people to hear this as possible. If you feel led, subscribe, hit the bell notification and the like button. Thank you very much for allowing me to give you a behind the scenes look on my videos.